Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Today my group is going to talk on our assignment project, which our topic is on the relationship between metals and density. Okay, on to the next slide. Okay, the following are our group members, where I am Dahlan bin Masyukur, and my friend, the other guy with me is Muhammad Adam. The other three girls are Nur Farida, Nurul Anis, Shafia, and Siti Sarah. And next. Okay, on this slide, on this presentation, we're going to talk on 6 topics, which are in the introduction, objective, materials and apparatus, procedure, results and discussion, and lastly, the conclusion. Next. On to the introduction. Okay, most of the elements on the periodic tables are metals and solid. These elements have observable properties that make it possible to identify an unknown element. Density is one of the properties that can be used to identify an unknown metal. Okay, density is the ratio of mass to volume. In the equation form of density equals mass divided by volume. And this is useful because each element on the periodic table have their own density. And we can identify the unknown metal using the given density of the metal. Okay, next. From here we can see the periodic table elements, and if we press next, here we can see that all of these are the metals left when you remove the non-metals and semi-metals. We can see that the majority of the periodic table of elements are made of metals. Just a little fun fact. Okay, next slide and my friend present this.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Shafia. So I will present about the objective of this experiment and materials and apparatus that have been used in this experiment. So objective of this experiment is to identify the unknown metal. Next. The materials that have been used in these experiments are distilled water, metal 1, metal 2, and metal 3. And the apparatus that have been used in this experiment are 50 ml graduated cylinder, 250 ml beaker, and scale. Next, I will pass to Adam Fahmi to explain about the procedure.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Adam Fahmi. Okay, the procedure goes as step 1, metal 1 was put in the 250 ml beaker and it was weighed on the scale. The mass of metal 1 was recorded in the table. For step 2, 50 ml graduated cylinder was filled with some distilled water and the initial volume of distilled water was recorded in the table. Step 3, metal 1 was transferred from the beaker to the graduated cylinder that containing the distilled water. Step 4, final volume of water was recorded in the table. Step 5, repeat step 1 until step 4 with metal 2 and metal 3 and all data was recorded in the table. Okay, thank you. Next.
Okay, here we have Nur Farida explaining on the procedure live through the virtual lab application.
Hi everyone, today I will show you how to identify the type of metal by using density. Metal 1. First of all, we need to provide metal 1, distilled water, glassware apparatus such as 50 ml graduated cylinder and 250 ml beaker. For the tools, we're going to use a scale to weigh the metal mass. Place the beaker on the scale and don't forget to press the tare button to get 0 gram so that we can observe only the mass of the metal. Then place a small amount of metal into a 250 ml beaker and weigh its mass on a scale. Do not forget to record the mass specified by the scale, which is 55.8351 gram into the table. Next step, add some amount of distilled water into 50 ml graduated cylinder and record the initial reading which is 21.96 milliliter into the table. Then transfer metal 1 in a beaker into a graduated cylinder that containing distilled water to see the final volume of distilled water. From the graduated cylinder, final volume was 27.28 milliliter. So after calculating the difference, the volume of metal is 5.32 milliliter. By using the formula of mass over volume, the density of metal was 10.49, and based on the density that already stated in the question, the metal is silver. Metal 2, just like metal 1, but with different type of metal, all the apparatus are just the same. Firstly, we need to put the beaker on the weighing scale and don't forget to press the tab button. Add some amount of metal 2 into the beaker and jot down the data given, which is 51.9571 gram. After that, we're going to add some amount of distilled water into the graduated cylinder, and don't forget to jot down the data of the initial volume in the table, which is 20.70 milliliter. After that, we transfer the metal 2 from the beaker into the graduated cylinder and observe the volume of the final water, which is 24.89. After calculating the difference, we're going to have the volume of metal, which is 4.19, and with the same formula of density, we're going to obtain 12.40 gram per centimeter cubic. That means it is a rhodium metal. Repeated step, but this time using the metal 3. Just same like the other step. The first one, we put the 200 ml beaker on the weighing scale, and don't forget to press the tab button to obtain 0 gram. After that, add the metal 3 into the beaker and observe the mass of the metal 3. Don't forget to jot down the mass of the metal 3, which is 67.4224 gram. After that, we're going to add some amount of distilled water into the 50 milliliter of graduated cylinder, and don't forget to jot down the initial volume of water into the table, which is 31.17 milliliter. Then we're going to transfer the metal 3 into the graduated cylinder with the distilled water to see the final volume of the distilled water itself. Final volume is 34.31, and after calculating the difference, the volume of metal is 3.14 milliliter. So by using the formula of density, we're going to obtain 21.47 gram per centimeter cubic. That means metal 3 is a platinum.
Okay, my name is Siti Sarah. I will explain about discussion and conclusion. For the discussion, here you can see the table of result. For metal 1, the density is 10.49, which is silver. Metal 2, density is 12.4, and it is rhodium. And for metal 3, the density is 21.47, and the identity is platinum. Next. And here you can see the calculation on how to find the density of the metal 1, metal 2, and metal 3. From the given question, it was stated that the density of silver is 10.5 gram per cm cube, rhodium is 12.4 gram per centimeter cube, and platinum is 21.45 gram per centimeter cube. Thus, from the experiment conducted, we are able to identify that metal 1 is silver, metal 2 is rhodium, and metal 3 is platinum. Next. And for the conclusion, through the experiment, we are able to identify all the unknown metal through the density of metal. Density of a metal can be determined when mass of metal is divided by its volume. Density of metal 1 is 10.49 gram per centimeter cube, metal 2 is 12.4 gram per centimeter cube, and metal 3 is 21.47 gram per centimeter cube. Thus, we can conclude that metal 1 is silver, metal 2 is rhodium, and metal 3 is platinum. Okay, that's
Okay, that's all from us today. Thank you.